Okay. I'm gonna roll this die 4 more times and that's it. I've been on this page for a while now. Escalators. Eos. Welcome to the journey. In this series, I'm playing an archer and Artale, specifically a marksman, but with a slight twist. This is gonna be an Ironman-like series, and I say Ironman-like because I'm adjusting a few rules to make this more fun for myself. The adjustments I'm making are specifically related to training and partying. I will be doing party training with others, mostly at higher level content like junior nudies and stuff like that. Lower level training though, it's going to be done solo. I couldn't bring myself to do solo training and no party quest for the entire series. With that being the case, the Ironman part comes from the funding and the equipment building, aka do it yourself. The main rule is that I'll be self-funded, and this is specifically a financial Ironman. No auction house usage, no trading with other players, but I'm allowed a few minor things. Nothing too crazy. You know the vibes. If you don't, here's what I mean. Let's dive into the actual rules of this series. There's a few of them. The first rule, no trading with other players, and that includes mesos and items. Second rule, no buying from or selling to other players, aka no auction house. Third rule, every equip I own must be something I farm. Fourth rule, I can do party quests and party grind with others. But to be honest, I haven't seen too many people on the game as I'm playing the game right now. I may be doing a lot more solo grinding than I thought, and honestly, that's probably because I'm at lower level content at this moment. For party quests, I'll be doing them until I get the reward I'm looking for and then I'll leave. Like for example, the broken glasses in Looty party quests. In Artale, you only need to do 15 party quests to get the broken glasses, so after 15 runs, I'll leave. And the fifth and final rule is non-raid style bosses will be done solo, which of course means no hyper body. The eventual goal of this character is to take out all the area bosses at the lowest level possible while having the lowest amount of HP possible, but my gear has to be stuff that I farmed and scrolled myself. That's the plan. Some of y'all might be thinking, well, this isn't a formal Ironman. Well, I hope y'all don't click off the video after hearing the rules. But yeah, you're right. This isn't a true hardcore Ironman experience. An Ironman on Artale for me would be a miserable time. That's just me in my opinion. I'm sure some of y'all beg to differ, and I'm sure there's some folks out there doing an Ironman series on here. It just couldn't be me. Some people enjoy a true challenge, but for a lot of people, including myself, they play Maplestory for the community aspect of the game. For me specifically, I enjoy a party quest here and there, which explain the rule adjustments to some degree. This is my spin on the Ironman challenge. I'll call it the Maple List challenge. A maple spin on the word economist, since it's a financial Ironman. Yeah, that's what we're going with, the self-made Maple List. So now more on why I went with the marksman and not another class. I had a few options that I was torn between, and I wanted this to be a class that I haven't exactly played a lot of. In this specific case, the criteria was that I never experienced full job with the class. For the classes, I narrowed it down to the class I barely experienced their job with. I wanted a semi-new experience. I've seen all the classes in action, but I wanted to experience them myself. So that narrowed down my options to 4 classes: Hero, Marksman, Fire Poison Archmage, and Paladin. And to be honest, I didn't really feel like playing another melee class because that's usually what I gravitate towards. So that eliminates Hero and Paladin for this video series. That leaves me with Marksman and Fire Poison Mage. Playing a Fire Poison Mage sounds fun to me, but a Fire Poison Mage didn't sound like a good idea for this particular video series because this series involves bossing. I'm sure if you tried to force it, you could boss with a Fire Poison Mage. It doesn't sound impossible, But since my initial thoughts were that it wouldn't be good for a video series idea, I decided to eliminate fire poison as an option. And for those reasons, that leaves me with a rules-adjusted Ironman marksman. Also, I think taking out all these bosses on a class that's known for having lower HP makes things much more interesting. I could have gone with the warrior, hero, or paladin and had access to a large pool of HP. I don't think either of those classes would be in immediate danger when facing a boss. But an archer, due to its naturally low HP, it will be. Plus, between the two classes for archers, I see marksman less often than I see bowmaster. I plan on going low strength at least in the beginning. I'm thinking I'm going to cap my strength at 60 for now. That should set up this archer for future equipment. I'm not sure what the endgame equips look like for marksman, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. If I need to adjust the strength towards certain equipment in the future, I'll do that later, either by scrolling or adding more strength. We'll see. As for the first job skills, I'll be looking to maxing focus eventually, probably during second job. Focus helps with avoidability and archers have naturally low avoidability. I think avoidability should be helpful in this series and some avoidability is better than none. Anyways, back to the bosses. I mentioned that I'll be facing all the area bosses, so let's take a look at all of them. Here are all the bosses that we'll be taking on in this series, at least based on when I made this graphic. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure I have all of them listed on the screen. If I forgot an area boss that happens to be in Artale that I'm not aware of, please let me know in the comments below. I'll just add it to the list later. If a boss gets added to the game while I'm making this series, I'll just add it in later as well. Some of these bosses I have no idea if it's even possible to complete on an archer. We'll find out together when we get to that point, at least in this character's progression. To be honest, a lot of these bosses I've never seen outside of Mulong Dojo. Back in the day, they were hunted all the time and were highly contested. Or I just never knew how to get to the bosses or where to go to find them. But with the power of Google, that's no longer an issue. With that being said, it'll be fun to see them in real time in their natural habitats instead of just inside of the dojo. I have genuine faith that this marksman can actually get it done. However, I think it's a known fact that archers have low HP. So this is the main challenge we'll be facing. How will this character survive as the bosses start to scale in difficulty? I don't think bosses in Maple really telegraph their hits all the time, so I'm not sure if dodging is the solution for low HP. I heard for archers that Scarecrow takes a % of the damage that you're supposed to take a hit from. Actually, I think that might be how it worked back in the day. Cause right now I thought about Scarecrow from GMS. I'm actually not sure if that's the case or not. I'm not fully sure because at this point, I haven't looked it up to fact check, and it's been a while since I've played an archer. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is, Scarecrow should be helpful for some bosses, but it may not be enough for all the bosses as we start to face higher level bosses. So we're just gonna have to come up with a strategy to beat those bosses, if it's even possible to begin with. I am curious to know what boss y'all think I'll start struggling on when it comes to health. Leave a comment below with the boss you think I'll start struggling at. As for bosses like Pap and Zack, I don't think it's possible to solo Pap and Zack on Artale because the bosses are more raid style. I seen a video where there was a timer for these bosses, and they had a full party. If that video is for real, then there's no chance I can do Zack solo with the timer. The timer being there is something new. Or maybe there was a timer, but it was much longer than the timer that I saw on the video. Speaking of changes, I'm glad the Artale team decided to add quality of life improvements, specifically the experience rate adjustments. I like the fact that experience gain is not one-time experience from the get-go. I also like the 3-snail skill adjustment. The skill doesn't need a specific shell to use the skill. Let's get to level 10 and get up this island so that we can actually start doing stuff and actually feel like an archer. I'm not sure what's faster between questing on Maple Island and just grinding the mobs. Usually I just pick up a few quests here and there and just call it a day. I don't think there are any must-complete quests on Maple Island. There's a few quests you can do for certain equipment, like the hat and the razor, if I remember correctly, and I think those are the ones I'm going to do, including also the relaxer chair. Actually, I think I'll just stick to the relaxer quest, and that's about it. At least as a must complete. There might be an opportunity where I have to pull out the chair to heal because I'm down bad on potions and money. I heard that Artale has no HP washing, but they do have a HP workaround. Allegedly. But as of right now, I don't have any plans on indulging in that workaround. I want to do this challenge naturally with how Nexon built the game back in 2005. I may scroll for HP or even equip some things that have HP on it. I think that was something people used to do back in the day if they needed more HP. They would equip something like the emergency rescue tube, for example, and just buy other equipment that had HP on it and put it all together and call it a day. I don't know how many clean equips you can buy that has HP on it from the NPC, but I feel like I remember seeing some equipment having like plus 5 HP on it or plus 10. Nothing too crazy in the grand scheme of things. Like, I don't think plus 10 HP is really going to save you. I guess it helps in the lower levels. I won't go too crazy when it comes to scrolling for HP if that ends up being a route that I take. I do want to take out these bosses with the lowest amount of HP possible. HP scrolling my equipment is like a last resort thing, since that would be sacrificing damage. For the most part, I want my equipment to be as regular as possible, aka scrolled with dex, strength, and attack. You know, the usual stuff. The stats archers need. You could argue that they need HP too, but nah, we're good over here. No HP scrolling. At least for now. So here we are on Victoria Island and I can go to Hennessy's for our job advancement. I got my job advancement, but Athena Pierce basically said, "Hey bruh, good luck out there. Be safe." She didn't give me a crossbow or arrows. And then she said, "I'ma catch you later." I don't know how she expected me to put in work. Insane. Not gonna lie, I didn't read the text when I clicked her, so I don't know if she told me where to go to get these items. Now I'm a little bit confused on where to go to get the arrows and the crossbow. At this point, I went around town to see if I could get the bow and some arrows. At this time while looking around, I didn't know that arrows were an equipment item and that you never needed to recharge them. That's actually a really nice quality of life feature. But since I didn't know this, I skipped over the arrows while looking at all the equipments at the NPC. I ended up walking over to the potion store to look for more arrows. I wasn't really trying to do this run while purchasing equipment from the NPCs. So right out of the gate, I thought I had to craft my own crossbow and arrows from the very start, which to me was already unfortunate. So on that note, I decided to farm to see if I can get the crossbow to drop from the monsters, or at least get enough materials to craft a crossbow. While farming, I got a few levels, but I realized, why am I putting myself through this? In normal circumstances, the job instructor will just give you the items for free. No farming required. This doesn't really make any sense to force myself to do. So I ended up going back to the store and buying the items. This is the first and last equipment I plan on buying from the NPC for the rest of the series. Once I got my crossbow in hand, I realized I couldn't even wear this at level 10 anyway, so it didn't make a difference. Crazy how things work out. Now, to be honest with y'all, that saved me from looking sorry. This whole crossbow and arrow fiasco saved me from embarrassing myself in a much worse manner compared to what happened next. Tune into the next episode where I take on the first boss of this challenge. If you like this episode, don't forget to like the video to support this channel. Thank you for watching, and do me a favor and have a good day for me.